Episode 39 of Major League Wrestling is here, and ooh, I'm so fucking mad. I'm sorry for cursing, ladies and gentlemen. It's not necessary to always curse in the video, but I'm angry right now. I am disappointed and I'm pissed. And I want to make this really clear for anyone who liked this episode of Major League Wrestling. It's not a bad show, but I am still freaking pissed off on what happened on this show. And the disappointment of what I was hyped for, something I had been waiting years for, I didn't get. But let's go through the rest of the show so you can see at least it wasn't 100% bad. This wasn't a bad show. Opening the show was low key. A promo for, I think, explaining how important he is to Major League Wrestling because he still has his 15-year winning streak. That rivals The Undertaker. I'm sorry. You don't hear people being undefeated often. Now, being on the pay-per-view, The Undertaker's unsurpassed. There's no way anyone will ever beat The Undertaker when it comes to a pay-per-view in any promotion. He's the first and he will be always the only one who's ever won on the biggest stages you can think of anywhere in the world. That's just it. But in a promotion, you don't normally hear that often. It's particularly that it's been recorded that for the last 15 years, low-key has not been beaten. Which I actually find that very refreshing. That other than The Undertaker, I now hear another person, yes, in a minor promotion, has a winning streak like that, either on a pay-per-view from Major League Wrestling or on a regular show. I find it refreshing and I like it. Now, we got the promo. Well, forget about that promo. Let's go into the first match of the night, which is Rich Swann versus Dragon Lee. Now, I admit, I kind of missed a couple of minutes of it. Had some stuff to do, so I came back a little late. So I managed to look at a little bit of the original promo that Low-Key did. After the show was over, I looked at it again because the stream on there, you could, on YouTube when they stream, if you don't close the window, you can go back and look at anything that was there because it was recorded in the cache. So I managed to see a little bit of that because admittedly I missed it in about maybe 3 minutes of I'm about to say Low-Key, but a little bit of Rick Swann versus Dragon Lee. But from what I saw, I actually did like. I liked seeing Rick Swann being a heel here. Because it kind of goes with what's going on with Impact Wrestling. Yes, they're two different promotions. One is not promoting the other one. But because you have him having this persona now, you can say on Impact Wrestling that there's something going on because he's been in other promotions and he started having this change of attitude a little bit. So that actually kind of helps Impact Wrestling in the future if they ever use the information from Major League Wrestling, if they cross-promote in any way. So I'm alright with it. In the end, it was... I can't believe. It was the face who won. And it was Dragon Lee. I don't know why I blanked. I'm really angry right now, so I'm kind of blanking. Dragon Lee did win. And, of course, you see Rick Swann being nice to him and raising his hand, and the commentators, which I still don't know the names of, are putting them over in that respect of basic competition. But to be honest, I would have liked to see a little more attitude from a Rich Swann. But it was okay. The second match, which is the final match of the night, Low-Key versus Fred Yay High. I don't know why I call him that, but hey, it's alright. Now, I didn't say this in the last Major League Wrestling that Yay High had challenged Low-Key for this week. Mainly due to the fact I didn't know who Yay High was. I didn't want to say something on Yay High until at least I had an idea. I was kind of hoping before they did this match, they would show a little bit of scenes of him, but they did not show any type of recordings of him generally. So I have to go with what I got. Him challenging him. Now, was it a good match? Yes, it was. Low-key coming out as a boss. Something the WWE does not do. Making a heel relevant. Someone who's not afraid to show what he can do. And I'm thinking back to Impact Wrestling, seeing Low-key back then, when he was with the Beatdown Clan as well as LAX, he is somebody that didn't screw around. He will beat the crap out of you. He was very strong style. No problem with it, and that's what you got in this match. In the end, Low-key gave him a stomp straight to his back. You probably see it in my face. That mess was vicious, and he won the match. Still goes along with Super Fight, and honestly, it still kind of upsets me that they're still promoting Super Fight, and Low-key is still having this. And the thing that gets me is that, yes, it's pre-recorded, but you could say during these pre-recordings, when it comes to Low-key going to be challenging Lawler eventually, you could say during those recordings going to Super Fight, we don't know. And I know they kind of did this with Fred Yehi a little bit, but we don't know if this is going to happen. Yes, it's being sponsored, but this challenge of Low-key is still a question. Will he really make it to Super Fight? And unfortunately, they're still booking it as it's a certainty. So I kind of feel a little upset about that. That they're not taking advantage of trying to hype this, saying that Low-key could still lose his winning streak and his title going into Super Fight, instead of them just making it sound like a certainty. The Brian Pillman promo as well, like Low-key, was done alright. I did enjoy it. Sami Callihan had his little moments dealing with Selena. I can't remember the last name. I'm sorry, guys. I still don't know her yet. But he was sent out to try and hunt down Lawler. And eventually, he tracked him down. Goes into a room. You can hear a lot of commotion. And, well, let me back up. Sami decides he's going to take out Lawler. Brings a hammer with him. Brings a cameraman with him. Threatens the cameraman. Goes into the room with the hammer. You can hear a lot of noise. And the person that comes out is Tom Lawler. I believe his name is Tom Lawler. With that same hammer. Now that makes you think, well, this makes me more interested in wondering how far they're going to go with Lawler. Dealing with Sami Callihan and Low-key and Serena. Wondering how far they're going to go to try and get rid of him before Super Fight. I'm actually hyped for this match. I still don't know Lawler very well because he's from Team Filthy, I believe. That's what the name of his team is. Because I believe that's it. But I'm not sure. But in the end, I am hyped to see how this is going to play out. Let's get this done. The match that should have ended the show. You got at least 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks before Super Fight comes out. I'm not sure. I think so. And why did you have to have Low-key versus Yehi? Why couldn't you have Tommy Dreamer versus Brian Pillman Jr. as the end of the show? This should have been his own special show, but it wasn't. Worse yet, and it was not the match quality that got me. It wasn't a bad match between Tommy and Brian Pillman Jr. I wasn't angry about it. It was okay. But two things got me so mad when I'm watching this, and when it was over, I was pissed as hell. One, Brian Pillman won the match, which I believe he shouldn't have. Two, this was not a freaking Singapore Cane match. This was a whatever anything goes match, or no holds barred match, or no DQ match. It doesn't matter how you call it. It was not a Singapore Cane match. This wasn't a freaking Singapore Cane match. And if anyone says it's a Singapore Cane match like the one that Sandman and Tommy Dreamer did, no, it wasn't. That match was a normal match. And who lost that match had to get the ass whooped by the damn cane. They had to stand there and take the freaking beating until the other person was satisfied. And what did they do in this match? They used the freaking cane from the very outskirts, very beginning. They both came out with canes. And I think, okay, they're bringing the canes in, they're going to set them down somewhere, and then they're going to start the fight. They're going to have the match. No! They actually start using it against one another. Then they started using chairs against one another. I can understand in the original match with Sandman and you could say with Tommy Dreamer, they could have used actual weapons in there. They could have used actual stuff like chairs and anything else that was in the crowd. Yes, that has happened in matches before. But this was about the person, when they lost, they get their ass whooped by that damn cane to prove how tough they are. And I didn't get that here. I am thoroughly disappointed in this match. And I'm angry. A match that I have been screaming for years. And I'm sure there have been Singapore cane matches before with Tommy and other promotions. I don't know if they did this in Impact Wrestling. Maybe they did. I didn't see the product until 2010. But it doesn't make a difference. This is supposed to be a Singapore cane match where the person is supposed to be treated like someone in Singapore. When they do something wrong, they get lashed for it. The guy back in the 90s who did the crime only got whipped 3 times by the cane. And then they stopped it because the United States government demanded them not to go any further. This is what I want. This is what I wanted in this match. I wanted to see Brian Pillman Jr. gain something like Tommy Dreamer did. He should have lost that match and he should have stood there and took the freaking beating and showed everyone in that crowd, no matter if it was only 100 people, how freaking tough he is. That if he's dealing with the Heart Foundation, he is one of the toughest SOB in that group. And I didn't get that. I got a freaking cop out. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm forgetting the Singapore cane match wrong. Someone tell me if I'm wrong. But as far as I know, if you still see scenes of it, Tommy lost that freaking match to Sandman. And he stood there and got his fucking ass whooped. But I could be wrong. You guys tell me below if I'm wrong. Taking away from that match, this is still building into Super Fight. And it wasn't a bad show. I'm alright with it. But I'm going to bring this show down from, it could be a B. Easily a B. It was a solid show. Even though it only had 2 matches taken away from the Singapore cane match. It would be a solid B. But this is a freaking D. Bordering on F. I'm sorry. I'm not discounting Major League Wrestling. Every promotion makes a mistake. Every promotion has a good, bad, or ugly show. This show, to me, even though it was solid with everything else, was brought down by the Singapore cane match, which should have closed the show. That was 1. Pillman should have lost the match. That was 2. And we should have got a real Singapore cane match like Sandman and Tommy Dreamer. That makes 3. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm not bashing the show and that promotion in general. I'm just angry. I hope you enjoyed this review. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace. I am still freaking mad. Oh, I'm mad.